Okay, here we go, diff time. So I've asked my son Lewis to help me with this. We're trying to feed this into 3 different positions. I'll just put some arrows there to show you the front bolts at the top. They go through the top plate, and we're also trying to navigate the nose of the diff, which you can see there. There's 4 threaded holes there which go through, and also at the back there's 2 other bolts which I'll just put up, and we'll have to feed them through a plate at the top. Now you can see them there in the picture, but also there's almost like a channel where they sit in, and you have to pack it with washers. Unfortunately the washers wouldn't quite sit into the channel, so I had to just file the bottom of a few of them there, which I've cut out. I didn't want to see me going back and forward, but overall it was good to, quite satisfying to get this fitted in. Almost becomes an integral part of the chassis, the way it's bolted in there. It's absolutely solid. There's some weight in the thing though. So there you go, there's the nose of the diff. So there's 4 bolts been put in there, and there's the top part where there's another two nylocks, and there's the washers I was talking about that we put in. So next part is, I mean, you can do this yourself, but obviously I was just taking advantage of Lewis being there, and a bit of father-son time as well. These are quite substantial, these wishbones. As you can see, they're quite well made. So the long bolt, I've just put the arrow there. There's a stainless steel sleeve that goes over the bolt, which kind of just makes it nice when it's all together and going between the 2 bushes. So yeah, we put this in. I had to go back and forward a few times, filing the stainless steel tube, so it would fit. But once we got it right, that was fine. Just goes in no problem. And yeah, we're on a roll, so we just cracked on here. So the next one was much easier, much quicker, because we'd already done one side. We knew what we were doing, so nice and easy. Or maybe I should say simple. Well, making good progress with the rear suspension. You see the diffs in. I've done 1 drive shaft, 2 bottom arms, and the instructions say I have to measure 150mm from the highest point of this carrier to the top of the chassis. So I've done that. So I've got 150mm there, and I've measured the where's my phone? I've measured the angle. Let me just try and get rid of that. So it says it has to be between 0 and 0.5, so that's in at the top, and as you can see, I'm too much. So what I need to do is I need to take out some of those shims. So I think there's 10 in there. It came with 10, as you can see on this side, which I've not done yet. So this is pretty much how the diff came. So I've just started with all 10 on this one. I've used some old nylocks because I've had it on and off a couple of times. And what I'll do is I'll take 3 of them out to bring the drive shaft in slightly, which should bring that angle down, and hopefully that'll be a goer. So here we go.
1 hour later.
Rear shock time. So the manual says 716 4.5 M12 switch. M12 washers, right? So there we go. That's the A2. And the 716 by 2.5. The now locks. That's them. And there we have it. Copper grease top and bottom, and just get them nipped up, put on, and that'll be one side done. Right, final piece of the puzzle at the back here on the offside is fitting the disc and fitting the caliper. Now you can see there in the shot that the back has got their shoes on the hubs there for the parking brake. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting the disc on, but I'm wanting to make sure that it's scuffing the inside. I want to give myself a fighting chance here that when I put it on, you know, that because you need to adjust it with a screwdriver in a hole, and it can be a bit of a pain. So that's that. So yeah, I'm obviously putting the hub on there, and it's just using all brand new nuts, bolts, washers, and everything's all new and powder coated. It's just a pleasure to put together. So drive shaft next. The flange on the Diff has got the bolts are almost like wheel studs, you know, so they've got splines there. So I'm just trying to line them up. Once it was home, it was fine. And I'm just putting on some old nylocks, just because I know it's going to come off again. Well, that's the plan anyway. So the next part is, you can see at the end of the drive shaft there, it's splined, and they feed into the hub. So what I need to do is I need to try and line them up as I'm lifting it, and when I'm lifting it up, it's coming up at a kind of arc. Obviously you can see there, but it was fine once I gave it a wee shuggle, as they say. It was fine. So you can see me putting that nut on there. The nut that you get with the back end kit, it's almost like a piece of wire in part of the thread, which deforms when you put it on, obviously to stop it coming off, so otherwise your wheel would fall off. So a bit of belt and braces here. I'm also putting thread lock on because I don't want anything coming off. So yeah, I forgot to mention here, when I was putting the drive shaft on, I'm actually starting with 4 shims this time instead of the full 10, just kind of lesson learned from the other side. So let's see what happens. So yeah, same deal as the other side. I need to get this 150mm to the top of the chassis. So it's a bit up and down with the jack. So really happy with that. Good guess, getting it to 0.2 with 4 shims. So now I'm just tightening everything up. Again, more thread lock. You invest in a few bottles of that if you're doing one of these cars. So I didn't know the torque settings for the drive shaft nuts, so I just tightened them as much as I could with a spanner. Obviously, more thread lock on there as well. So now, here we go. New torque wrench that I had to buy, which goes up to something like 300 foot-pounds. What's happening, Thomas? You want out? So the manual here is telling you to torque this up to 225 foot-pounds, which is a lot. Right, getting there now, so it's shock time. I'll probably speed some of this up because there's really not much to see, same as the other side. Right, near side disc and caliper, and then the only thing left is the tie bars. So yeah, same again with this, just making sure it didn't scuff. Put it on and off a couple of times. I actually cut a wee bit out here just to not to bore yous. And then I put the caliper on, get a torque up, and that's it. Right, rear end is finished. Next job is I'm going to clean everything thoroughly, and then I'm just going to go around with some black Hammerite touch up any chips and things that have appeared, and that is the back end done. Put the cables through as per the instructions. And when I was picking the car up, Danny at the factory said to make sure there's plenty of thread at this side. Makes it better for adjusting. So, as you can see, I have marked everything that's tight, so I don't have to go round again. Make sure. The only thing I had to do, these tie bars, this one, I tried this one in this side and it was a bit off. I put it in this side and it was exact. The bolts just slipped straight in, top and bottom. This one, the bolts fitted in at the top, and then at the bottom it was quite tight, so I flipped it round. It was much easier, but it was still just a little tight at the bottom, so I just gave it a little file out and put that through. So it's been a really satisfying day doing all this. So I'm just trying to think what the next job is. It'll probably be doing the brake and fuel lines, possibly mount the fuel tank now that I've finished at the back end. So yeah, I'll probably do that. Probably do the fuel tank. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some riv nuts underneath and then get that bolted up. But yeah, coming on nicely.